Personen in rechten Zeiten sowie den Außenbereich. Teil an der Nordseite sowie des Außenbereichs
Moving forward.
You have these visual artists, but you also have some photography work, and it's with Werner van der Stigghel, the photographer. And we also have a scientific experiment bringing together the efforts of Sophie Grier, an architect, an anthropologist, Audrey, and myself. And what we try to do, and this is a scientific experiment and might throw a banner in the wheels around this concept of the peri-urban concept. Peri-urbanism is not so much a space as a practice, as a social practice, and you could well consider that people bear this sort of peri-urban dimension. And so being peri-urban is in this way a way of being, a way of traveling. And so you have in this exhibition called Traveler, you have people who, might be seen to be attending rave parties. Rather than rave parties, they have this sort of no-land itinerary. So this is the exhibition, photograph exhibition right outside this room.
Merci beaucoup.
Hello, yes, yesterday for those of you who missed the 1 minute and a half micro conference, I'll try to take 2 minutes to give you the broad aspects. Well, sit down on the red couch. Ferjeux van der Stigghel, who is the author of the pictures you may have seen these last 2 days. And the announcement we were asked to make, we should physically identify ourselves because we'll be available for a guided tour of the exhibitions in the next few hours. So if you do have time to leave the various conferences this afternoon, you'll have your own personal guided tour. For the moment, this exhibition is the flagship of an interdisciplinary research project with an architect, Sophie Grier, who's not here. She wanted to be somewhere else. We have with us Maud Reitz, who's an anthropologist, a visual anthropologist, and Ferjeux van der Stigghel, who is in charge of all the artistic work. So we have both an essay driven by the Mobile Life Forum to try and focus and frame this artistic work. So we look at this visible and invisible community called the Travelers, contemporary nomads, and they are interesting in 2 respects. First, because they extend the various modes of living, problems, issues between housing and mobility are reversed because their housing becomes mobile, their houses move, and the issue of knowing how you go home in the evening is already solved by that. And the second thing that seemed interesting for us and that we wanted to show you in pictures is their practices. The assumption that we made is that the peri-urban is not a territory, it's not a space. That's what I tried to say yesterday, but it's a series of practices, urban practices that move along with the people who carry them. These people are hyper-urban, these travelers, because they listen to urban music, they dress urban, they think urban, they're post-capitalistic, post-industrial, post-urban also maybe. And so they bring their own peri-urban areas to reinvent them. This is what Ferjeux documented in pictures. Maybe you can say a few words about it. Well, I'm not really used to talking. I rather speak with my pictures, but I started this work in 2008. And to keep it short, I looked at a paradox in that most neo-nomads are skilled people with various skills who rather reflect our current society. There may be a lot more seasonal activities, so to speak, but you have all sorts of skills represented in science or other fields. And the paradox that I'm discussing with that is that the economic formula that's proposed by neo-nomads is entirely viable, but they live on the margins of society because of their environmental lifestyle, and very often people look down on them. The paradox is that people accuse them of raising trouble. They organize free rave parties that create a lot of problems, according to some, whereas it's only 20% of travelers that organize those, and the rest, the 80%, are invisible because they work in recycling. They use vehicles that used to be used by companies that have been transformed into mobile houses. And when you meet them on the motorway in your car, the first thing that you think is that you've just seen a company vehicle and not a mobile house. So I wanted to show how we completely ignore this invisible world, which is at odds with the spectacular depiction of these people made by the media. They only talk about spectacular aspects, but if you dig a bit deeper, you can see this is a way of looking at the future of our society. Well, thank you. Thanks to your pictures, the invisible world is made visible.
Den rechten.